Hello, anatomists. Michele Glass here, and we are continuing our study of the heart model by picking up some little odds and ends. So we had our first video where we looked at exterior structures and we named the coronary circuit. Our second video looked inside the structures of the heart, focusing in or guiding our study of the anatomy by the flow of the blood itself. And our job in this video is to pick up some additional details. So we have seen the top two chambers of the heart are called atria. And we've seen with each of these, there's kind of this overlap of that tissue on the heart itself. And remember, that's referred to as the auricle. When we pop open, this is the right side. When I pop open the right atria, you would see this on inside both. You have these folds, and these are actually muscles of the right atria. So those muscles are called the pectinate muscles. And they've shown the left side to be smooth, so I can't show it there, but it would be present in both left and right atria. When we are looking at the model, we can see what's called the atrial septum. Atrial septum or interatrial septum is talking about the wall or the tissue that separates the right atria from the left atria. In fetal development, there's an opening, and that opening is called the foramen ovale. So foramen, remember from your study of the skull, means a hole. In the adult, at birth, you get a closing of that, and you get this remnant here, which is called the fossa ovalis. So that depression, it almost looks like a fingerprint where this model is so big, would be the fossa ovalis. So we're not going to be actually labeling the foramen ovale anywhere, but you will be asked to identify the fossa ovalis. So fossa means depression, foramen means actual opening. So that would be the difference in the terms. As we move down into our ventricles, we've already talked about our tricuspid and bicuspid valves in previous video, and I mentioned that we had these like tendons holding those valves in place, and those tendons can be called chordae tendineae. So that's what's represented on this model with these strings. Now the chordae tendineae are actually coming off of these muscles that are sticking up, and these muscles are called papillary muscles. So the term papilla or papillary means like finger-like, so you can see why it would be called that here. The chordae tendineae are attached to the papillary muscles, and what's happening here is when the ventricles contract, it pushes the blood, so the blood gets pushed like back towards the atria, and we don't want the blood to go back into the atria. We want the blood to get pumped out of the heart through the vessels. And so what will happen is these valves will actually have these kind of flaps to them, and when the blood starts rushing backward, it causes those valves to shut. And the only way they don't open back up into the atria, they're not a swinging door, they're a door that closes. They're held shut by those chordae tendineae, like holding down with that papillary muscle. So the chordae tendineae and the papillary muscle helps to keep that valve closed even when the ventricles are contracting and creating a lot of pressure there. The tricuspid on the right side is named because there's 3 flaps, and so you're going to have 3 sets of chordae tendineae. The left atrioventricular valve, or bicuspid, is named bi because it has 2 flaps, and so 2 sets of chordae tendineae. So we've named papillary muscles here. Let's also name the wall that's separating the right and left ventricle. This wall is called the interventricular septum. So the term septum is talking about a wall or tissue barrier. And notice that our left ventricle just has a thicker musculature than the right ventricle. And that's because the left side, remember, is pumping to the whole body. It's pumping through that systemic circuit, whereas the right ventricle is only really pumping to the lungs, which are proximally, very close to the heart. So it doesn't generate as much force. All right, I needed to check my list. So we have just one more structure to name that we can see from the model, and that's all the bumps and grooves of the musculature that's here in the ventricle. So in the heart, we called it pectinate muscles, and when we look in the ventricle, all those little bumps and grooves are going to be called trabeculae carnae. Okay, so that's it for the model. Stay tuned for the diagram video, and as always, take care of yourself and each other.